Oh, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our ordinary meeting for the month of August. I would like to ask the General Manager to make announcements regarding the live streaming of the meeting, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The meeting is being live streamed and/or recorded for on-demand viewing by Council's website. Attendance at the meeting is to be taken as a consent by a person to their image and/or voice being webcast. All speakers should refrain from making any defamatory comments or releasing personal information about another individual without their consent. Council accepts no liability for any information about another individual without their consent. Council, I've already said that. No defamatory comments made by persons attending meetings. All liability will rest with the individuals who made the comments. The meeting must not be recorded by others without prior written consent of the Council in accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice. Councillors and staff are obligated to declare their conflicts of interest as required under the Local Government Act and Council's adopted Code of Conduct. Councillors are reminded of their oath of office, whereby they have declared and affirmed that they will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of the Wentworth Shire and Wentworth Shire Council, and they will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in them under the Local Government Act or any other act to the best of their ability and judgment. Thank you.
Thank you, General Manager. And I should point out, while I welcome those in the gallery and anyone who may be watching online, that we're joined this evening by General Manager Ross, Director Rule and Director Gunn. Would all who are willing and able stand for the prayer, please? We give thanks and ask for guidance and direction that each of us may fulfil our responsibility to our community and to our country. Amen. Please be seated. Item 3, apologies and applications for leave of absence. There are no apologies. Councillor Evans.
I'd like to make a application for leave of absence from Friday the 18th of September through to this Friday the 2nd of October, please.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. Are there any other requests for leave of absence? Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Weeding, seconded. Councillor Beaumont. All those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Item 4. Are there any disclosures of interest, please? Councillor Crisp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My disclosure is relating to item 9.11, the Wentworth Military Collection application. I provided governance advice to members of the WMC committee to call an extraordinary general meeting to address issues relating to financial concerns and adherence to the organisation's constitution. Subsequently, the Treasurer, Assistant Treasurer and a committee member have resigned.
Thank you, Councillor Crisp. Welcome. Councillor Rodder.
So I've a conflict with 9.13 for the Christmas Eve street party.
Thank you, Councillor Rodder. Councillor Evans.
I have a conflict of interest with once again 9.13 Christmas Eve street party.
Thank you. So noted. Councillor Weeding.
Conflict in 9.11. I was on the committee of the Wentworth Military Museum. I've since resigned last week, and I was also the Murray-Darling Swimming Association, who is a intra-club member of the Coomiella Club, and I'm a director of that.
Thanks, Councillor Weeding. Are there any further disclosures of interest? No, thank you. We'll move to item 5, confirmation of the minutes of the July meeting. Someone move. Councillor Nichols, thank you. Seconded, Councillor Armstrong. Any debate? Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Councillor Deputy Mayor Crisp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the ordinary council meeting be adjourned for the purpose of conducting a public forum.
Is the motion seconded? Councillor Rodder. All those in favour? Thank you. This evening we are going to have a public forum with regard to item 920 and 921. Speaking against item 920 is Mr. and Mrs. Jardine. Particular batting order or?
Phoebe will go first. That's right.
Okay, Phoebe, would you like to present to council? Wherever you're comfortable, up the front will be the best for us to hear you. And you'll have 3 minutes. And when my alarm goes off, if you just sort of finish the sentence that you're on. Thank you, Phoebe. Over to you.
Our concerns are as follows. The existing Lot 3 is not used for an agricultural use, with the enlargement of the lot by this proposed application still not lending itself to an appropriate agricultural venture. Lot 3 is currently run under the ownership of Martin Earthworks Proprietary Limited, including but not limited to excavator, a grader, backhoe, B-double truck and trailer tipper, water truck, telehandler, machinery depot and storage of gravel and other materials. This is far from an agricultural venture and currently being used as Martin Earthworks. This has been the case for over 5 years. Constant daily heavy earthworks machinery, noise, dust and pollution. The meaning of agriculture is science, art and practice of farming. Heavy earthworks and machinery refer to engineering operations that shape, move or process large amounts of soil. As direct neighbours, we have witnessed hundreds of tonnes of gravel and loam be carted to Lot 3 and sold off-site. Clause 4.2d, boundary adjustments. 4. Development consent must not be granted unless the consent authority is satisfied. C. That the subdivision will not create the potential for land use conflict. The proposal will increase the conflict between land use. Lot 3 is using agricultural by means of hobby farming, 10 sheep as a smoke screen and facade for Martin Earthworks. Lot 3 was purchased for Martin Earthworks, not agriculture. Consideration matter from the report states A is likely to be incompatible with the dominant land uses in the surrounding area. The dominant land uses in the surrounding area are rural, residential and agricultural grazing. However, this is an expansion of Martin Earthworks. C is appropriate regarding natural and physical characteristics of the land. We access our property via a carriageway and the expansion of Martin Earthworks all around us is a health, safety and environmental concerns. Therefore, the boundary adjustment is not appropriate. D is likely to have a significant adverse impact on environmental values of the land. The boundary adjustment will significantly adversely affect environmental values of the land. The operation of heavy earthworks machinery has no place near rivers and does not protect it. This subdivision cannot be directly tied to the ongoing agricultural land use as Lot 3 only has heavy earthworks machinery and a measly 10 sheep. As stated in the report, Lot 3 is currently under the ownership of Martin Earthworks. I repeat, under the ownership of Martin Earthworks. There is a concern that the social welfare of community, most particularly ourselves, my family, may be open to being negatively impacted by the proposed subdivision, particularly by right-of-way of access to our property. Wentworth Shire Council promote and advertise Wentworth Shire as being a place that offers a unique lifestyle by the Murray and Darling rivers. It's a place of natural beauty and outdoor activities, ideally for families. Given all the above, we strongly urge that councillors reject this DA on the grounds that the repose of our lives, the amenity of the neighbourhood and our health and safety will be drastically decreased. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Jardine. Just before you go, sorry, I'll just shut this up. Councillors, does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Jardine? Councillor Beaumont.
Yeah, Mrs. Jardine, I'm interested to know, is the easement, is that fenced at the moment? Is that
Yes, it's 10 wide. It's fenced, but halfway down there is double gates either side that give Lot 3, Martin Earthworks, access to Lot 5. So there is a lot of traffic on the easement and a lot of damage, and in parts
just going across?
and it's impassable right at that point. Well, it's passable, but it is somewhat dangerous for family vehicles.
So that is a direct linkage between.
Yes, and it's approximately 550 metres long.
And it's fenced on both sides.
Yeah, and they travel up and down the easement as well.
Thank you. That's your only access to your property.
That is correct. If this goes ahead, we're landlocked.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Beaumont. Are there any further questions? Thank you very much, Phoebe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, next we will hear from Mr. Jardine. Thank you, Brenton.
Can I just hand out a little bit of paper for the councillors? Is that all right? Just to make it a bit clear on what I'm saying. It's just basic legislation, New South Wales.
You can. It'll be difficult to have time to absorb
I understand.
within the meeting, but it'll be up to councillors whether they read
It's pretty basic stuff.
So same rules. You'll have 3 minutes to address council from the front of the room.
There's some wine in line. Oh, sorry, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jardine.
So I was in this exact same position a few years ago. I was in the exact same DA, and for whatever reason, that decision was deferred at the time, and the applicants actually withdrew for what reasons are unknown. So I just want to outline some environmental planning tied to the New South Wales legislation. Now this is pretty straightforward stuff as far as I'm concerned. So on the first page here, you'll see 4.2D, boundary adjustments in zone RU1, which is our zone RU1. All right. This clause applies to land in the following zones. Zones that are RU1 for primary production. Development consent must not be granted unless the consent authority is satisfied. The subdivision will not create the potential for land use conflict. And then if we flick over to the next page, heavy industrial storage establishments in zones RU1, the development consent will not create land use conflict. All right. The consent, I can't emphasise enough, the consent for the depot the last time I was here has caused nothing but conflict from 7:30 to the morning after this exact meeting. It's been an absolute nightmare for myself and my family. Right, it's almost unsafe to live where we're living at the moment. It also states that this site is not located on floodplain land or within 1 kilometre of another dwelling. Now, this depot was placed only a couple hundred metres from our house, right? And it cannot be placed near an existing waterway. That's on the banks of the Darling River, this earthworks depot. Okay? So if you flick to the last page, right, you can't argue against that, right? Martin Earthworks, it's clear for everybody to see, right? He's based at 372 Low Darling Road, right? There's an earthworks business being run out of there as we speak, all right? Not only have they got all the machinery there, they cart in gravel and loam, all right, and they use it as an extractive place to then go and sell that material onward to customers. All right, so the council decided they'll put general conditions on the depot last time, all right. So I just want to flick over here to one of the ongoing uses in the general conditions. The depot must only be used between the hours of 7 AM and 6 PM Monday to Friday, all right. I've provided council with extensive video footage of the depot being used outside of hours. All right. Public holidays, weekends, weekdays outside the hours. All right. No action's been taken. No action at all. All right. So I just thought I'd bring a little video for everyone to listen to.
We won't be able to admit that into the meeting, sorry, Mr. Jardine.
Each other, nothing. We're looking at each other. Fuck you lot. You want to run around on a fucking motorbike at 8 o'clock.
This is what we listen to every day.
Fuck you.
Can't
Sorry, that's the 3 minutes.
It's not really good for my kids to listen to this every day too, but You know, I've been trying to get it stopped, but, you know, council aren't interested in stopping it. So I've been living through this shit for 5 years. Right? So I can't ask. Everyone here is a grandparent and a parent, right? And I can't emphasise enough as a parent, right? My privileges have been taken away from me to protect and provide for my family, right? And here I am standing here pleading to you guys to help me out and protect my family. If this development goes ahead, right, my kids aren't safe on the carriageway. All police presence will be taken out of the equation. They cannot control him if he's allowed on the carriageway. Right at the moment, he hasn't been allowed on there for 3 months or more. If he's allowed on that carriageway, my kids, right, cannot be protected, right? And council's responsibility, right, is to keep the public safe.
Thanks, Mr. Jardine. I'll sort of let you go a little bit over time there. Is there any questions for Brenton, councillors? Thank you. Thank you for your submission.
Thanks for your time.
All right. We'll now hear from Mr. Goldsworthy speaking in favour of item 920. Thank you, James. Wherever you're comfortable.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor and councillors. So this is an application that involves a planning issue, and the planning issue relates to the subdivision of land which has been undertaken by way of boundary realignment. So that's what the proposal is before council today. Councillors have been made aware and will be familiar with the fact that there was previously an application that was deferred and subsequently withdrawn. Following that deferral and withdrawal, other options for subdivision of the land were pursued by the landowner, which we're acting on behalf of, being Junction Vineyards. So Junction Vineyards considered other options, and they were put to other parties, or the two parties that are involved in the subdivision, and there was no agreement able to be reached. And that's left us with the fact that where we're at today, with the subdivision being the same as what was previously presented to the council. It's a realignment of boundaries only. There is really minimal change and minimal impact. We're talking about the most significant lot being over 5,000 hectares. And the easement that is existing is remaining, so there's no change to the easement. Effectively, there's two lots that are being consolidated. The land of the Jardines can continue to rely upon that easement, as has been the case. So we're not sort of changing anything or restricting anything from the current situation, and understand what council have heard around that. So I suppose what council have before it is a report and an officer's assessment being undertaken by a contractor of council in relation to the planning matter, and the recommendation is to approve subject to conditions. We're accepting of all of the conditions that are proposed through the independent assessment, if you like, and that's all I have to say in relation to the proposal, but I'm able to answer any questions around the subdivision and what the proposal is.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Goldsworthy. Councillors, does anybody have a question for James regarding this matter?
In regards to
Councillor
the, sorry, Mr. Mayor, through you. So in regards to the other options that were considered, could you please provide a little bit more detail?
The option, I suppose, was to change the access. It's a carriageway easement, so that right of access is currently part of our land that is subject to the subdivision. So it's not part of a freehold title of the Jardine family. So our proposal was to create on the easternmost portion of the land freehold title that joined up to the Jardine property, and so it effectively extinguished the carriageway easement. That was the proposal, and there wasn't an agreement able to be reached around that. So that's why we've sort of reverted to this proposal, because we need agreement by all parties whose land is subject to the application in order to effectively pass the first step of lodgement of the application.
So that would have removed the carriageway then, and any need to transverse through such carriageway. but no agreement was able to be reached. Thank you.
Councillor Beaumont.
So, seems like the option that you've just outlined might have been a viable and satisfactory outcome, but unfortunately not reached. So, if this boundary realignment goes through, does the owner of lots 3 and 5 have the ability to remove the fencing along the easement?
Not really.
Likely.
It's not really a planning issue.
Planning issue,
The,
potential
yeah.
Outcome. Could be an outcome.
I'm not probably really. Yeah, I mean,
So,
maybe it's a civil matter, and it's probably a matter for the owner of the land. That ultimately the carriage, the proposal that is before council today is for a subdivision, and the subdivision doesn't propose to change the easement.
But it is a carriageway that provides access to a property that lives inside the those two lots. Basically.
Yes.
So, as the owner of lots 3 and 5, and I know you're not going to give me an answer to this either, but potentially could lock the access to his property and thereby access to the carriageway.
Well, the carriage following this subdivision, if it were to be completed, the carriageway easement remains, and
But it's on freehold land.
yep. So the carriageway easement remains, and it benefits the Jardines property, and that's not proposed to be changed. So there is legal right for the Jardines property to continue to use that that carriageway easement for such purposes. So the subdivision isn't changing that.
So it's not possible then for the owner of lots 3 and 5, Mr. Martin, to say padlock the gates to the easement.
Mr. Martin doesn't own lot 5. So that's Junction Vineyards, and that's
Who owns Junction Vineyards?
was a company, Junction Vineyards Proprietary Limited. So they are the owner of the land. So the subdivision at the moment, it probably doesn't really matter who owns what, except for the fact that there's lot 3 and lot 5, and there's a boundary realignment between the two. Part of lot 5 is fronting the Darling River, and the other part of lot 5 does not. So that small part of lot 5 would be joining lot 3. That's it. The carriageway easement remains the same. I can't answer the question as to whether or not someone may do something. That's ultimately up to and those parties. But however, what's before council and what I'm implying.
I get that, but I guess from a community perspective, my concern is retaining right of access.
So the subdivision isn't changing the right of access or changing the carriageway easement.
Mr. Goldsworthy, just a quick question with regard to the offer that you referred to on the eastern side of the lot. Did that essentially for a freehold portion, so not a carriageway easement? Did that allow potentially prevent a full encroachment if the boundary realignment goes ahead? That it would prevent a full encroachment around the Jardine property, i.e. that little piece that's on the eastern side down to the river, or was it something smaller than that?
No, my understanding, like we're talking conceptually, obviously,
Yes.
is that the eastern portion, the land to the east of the Jardine property would be joined to the Jardine property, and then there would be a slither of freehold land that would be part of the Jardine property going up to Cudmore Road. So at the moment we've got an easement which is like not part of the Jardine property, and so the proposal would be that the easement is gone, freehold title is relied upon for access to the Jardine property.
To have the
That would be
strongest
owned
legal-
by the Jardine
Yes.
family, or I shouldn't say, like, it's by part of that lot. So whoever is the owner of that land would be the beneficiary and
But
owner.
that as a concept was put forward.
Correct.
Are there any other questions? Councillor Crisp.
A procedural question. Can we invite the Jardines back to respond to the conversation about the realignment?
Procedurally, I think not, but perhaps it's a point that hasn't been explored. It does form the basis of a submission. So we've got two different versions essentially of dealing with that, of what that conceptual offer looked like. But in doing so, it'll be considered a question and a 1 minute response. So I'll do that shortly.
Not to muddy the waters, but that and entirely in council's hands. The application is before council now. What it is.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, and it's up to council as to what the decision is on that, whether a decision's made or otherwise.
Understood, and I think that that point's been made, and the report definitely goes to that. But before I do that, we'll make sure we finalise any questions for Mr. Goldsworthy, because that will be the end of the public forum with regards to item 920. We're not going to keep going back and forth all night.
No.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, James. Mr. Jardine, we'll just if you can keep your remarks to under a minute.
Yeah, I think it'd be
Just respond to that point.
I think it'd be in the public interest to hear what I've got to say. If that's all right. Could save a lot of court proceedings. So James was correct in we were offered a proposal. Chelmsford Vineyards asked us, do we want to buy the lot in front of us, and we offered them more than what they asked. We offered them $260,000, which was, in my view, a lot more than what it was worth. But I'm prepared to pay any price to get some peace. They refused that offer, and they offered us a 6 metre freehold strip, 6 metres of freehold. So we forfeit our 10 metre easement, and we were able to buy a 6 metre freehold strip. But Martin Earthworks was still able to cross that freehold strip and access our property down the eastern side all the way to the river. So that would solve no conflict at all, right? Because he'd still be able to surround our whole property by access off Cudmore Road, and he'd be able to access the property, which is the wetland down the eastern side. So just in our view, it just solved no conflict, and we'd have to cough up money for a 6 metre freehold strip. And there was no mention of it being freehold, by the way, right? It just sounded like we're going to forfeit a 10 metre easement for a 6 metre easement.
Thank you.
That was the way I received it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for letting me talk.
Thanks, Mr. Jardine. All right. Next up, item 9.21. We'll hear from Mr. Jackson. I think you know the rules by now, Matt.
Yes,
3 minutes.
good afternoon.
When you're ready, thank you.
I've actually just been asked to speak on behalf of the landowner, just basically to thank the council staff in regards to the dealing of this application, because the owners have been through quite a bit with it. So this would have been passed on their gratitude to council staff. So basically have nothing else to say than that. Just wanted me to pass that on.
Thank you. Now, are there any questions for Mr. Jackson?
I'm surprised if there was.
I'll just cook up one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Crisp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the ordinary council meeting be reconvened.
This is a motion seconded. Councillor Weeding, all those in favour? Thank you, carried. All right, we'll move to item 6, outstanding matters from previous meetings. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Rodder, thank you. Second, Councillor Starrick. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. Those, you have some discussion?
Yes,
Councillor
I just
Rodder.
wanted to say congratulations to council and to the Gold community for the advocacy in regards to the installation of the Cameron Lane signage and the Tom Monica Pathway signage. An event that was very well attended by the Gold community.
Indeed it was. Thank you, Councillor Rodder. Any further discussion? Councillor Beaumont.
Yes, can I just ask the General Manager, this item's not actually on the outstanding action item list, but is there any progress being made in relation to the plaque to go on the Junction Island platform?
Excuse me, I'll just confer what's. Where did we get that? It's been ordered.
Been ordered? Beautiful. Thank you.
Your words in bronze.
Is it? Hope I got the grammar right. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. I move my report. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Weeding. Any discussion? Those in favour? Thank you, carried. We'll move to item 9, the General Manager's report. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Rodder, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Evans, thank you. Any questions? Councillor Starrick.
I have a question on page 42. It's the Toll and the FOSO PCG meeting. What is PCG?
Wonderful acronym.
Project Control Group.
Does that conclude your questions, Councillor Starrick? Anything further? Put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you, carried. Item 9.2, Christmas leave arrangements. Do I have a mover? Councillor Armstrong, thank you. Councillor Beaumont has seconded. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you, carried. Item 9.3, Union Picnic Day. There is a recommendation. Thank you, Councillor Armstrong. Councillor Nichols has seconded. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you, carried. Item 9.4, plant replacement pre-approval for tender for purchase of bulldozer. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Crisp, thank you. A seconder. Councillor Weeding, thank you. Anyone wish to speak for the motion? Against? Councillor Beaumont.
Well, I've got a question.
Question.
So, from my understanding of reading this agenda item, it doesn't appear that this proposed bulldozer purchase is actually replacing similar equipment. Is that correct?
The previously owned bulldozer of council, which was way past end of life, was recently disposed of by the auction of older plant and equipment some months back. That hadn't been in use for some 18 months. Council had previously been hiring a dozer to undertake works as highlighted in the report there, and I think there's to the tune of $200,000 in excess for that period. So in effect,
this report rather than purchasing new. This is as I said, pre-approval for the general manager to approve expenditure up to 674, a suitably sized and appropriate hourd second-hand machine, similar to what is currently being used and hired.
So I guess my question, next question relates to the financing of a prospective purchase. Because there is mention within our agenda that several times that we do need to show financial constraint and consider operational sort of thing going forward. $670,000. I don't know that has been budgeted for in that. So there is a line item in the report that says it's actually part of the 24-25 budget.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not. That's not an additional one identified as plant replacement reserve.
No.
So it's in. So on the top of. So the purchase is included within the 20. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So if I probably just along those lines. So as I said, for the last 12 to 18 month period, which council has spent in excess of $200,000 on fire fees. The council's current fire works program with already approved various state and Commonwealth grant programs for the roads program into that 4 and 5 year period. The expected workload for that particular item of plant will continue for those works which are already approved and locked in. So the continued hire for expected hire was going to be in excess of upwards of $1 million.
Thank you.
Councillor Starrick.
I also have a question. How does this purchase, a second-hand purchase, fall in with the procurement policy? Does the procurement policy have any governance requirements in regards to the purchase of second-hand equipment? I didn't see anything when I looked at the policy, so it doesn't specifically give any guidance there. It's just at the discretion of the general manager.
It'll still go through a tender process. It's only a timing factor if you endorse the expenditure in relation to this. What we've seen in previous securement of a dump truck, we thought we had a good one, and then by the time we reported to the council, it had gone. So we're just trying a timing factor. If they come in with all the procurement, all the timing, and they say I can get one for 500, that's really good.
So I suppose back to your question, the procurement policy is more around how we identify the need and for a particular procurement process or whatever we're purchasing. The Act then determines the way we do it. So because this is over $250,000, we have to go to tender for it. So we'll be going to tender for it as is outlined in the report. The last time we tried that, we missed out and it cost us an extra $90,000. So we just want to be a little bit pre-prepared in that regard. So.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Weeding.
Well, I can see makes financial sense to buy it, and it's only a pre-approvement, so we might not be spending that much money. But if we do get one, are we going to have to create a full-time position for somebody to drive it, or is it have we got people that can operate it?
Yeah, we currently have a full-time staff member who's part of his primary role is the operation of the dozer when not in use, because obviously it's not used, all day, every day throughout the year. Although having said that, it is used a significant amount of time. That particular staff member is redeployed on other items of construction plant and equipment.
So the hire of the bulldozer before was dry hire, was it?
That's correct. We still, our operator still use the machine.
Thank you. Any further questions or debate? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Item 9.5. I have a request. You're moving, Councillor Nichols. Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Starrick, thank you. Anyone wish to speak to the motion?
I'll happily speak to the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Armstrong.
It's good to see Broken Hill bringing this and us willing to support it. I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding out in the community around uranium mining and nuclear energy, and this isn't related to nuclear energy specifically. When the New South Wales state had the O'Farrell government lifted the prohibition on the exploration for uranium and radioactive material in the state. Prior to that, it was prohibited to even explore for it. So while the prohibition on exploration has been lifted, it is still illegal under this act that is looking to be repealed to mine this material and export it out of the state. Now, it's not just uranium that is caught up in this. Many of the councils, all the councils should be aware, for a long time, BMAX/Crystal/Tronox was mined up at Pooncarie, ginkgo and snapper. One of the products, or some of the products suite mined out of that, was associated with monazite, which is a radioactive material. So radioactive that you can sit on it and it not cause you not be exposed to any radiation higher than background. But it is classed as a radioactive material, so it had to be put back into the pit by the company and not able to be exported out of Australia, even though it was worth 5 to 6 times more than their next most valuable product. So the repealing of this legislation will open up not just those areas like Broken Hill or Cobar that have hard rock and potential for uranium, but it gives more potential to mineral sand developments in Wentworth Shire and around that would create jobs and development within our shire and more long-term security to those mineral sand projects.
Point of relevance, this is a broad letter for a council.
About
we don't need to have a total book version of what our system is around the district, around the region.
I think Councillor Armstrong is articulating the context around why this request is made, and he'll continue.
I'm finished there.
Would anyone like to speak against? Any further speakers for?
Not really for, but just in regards to Councillor Nichols' comments. So actually, I found that very useful because on the face of it, my initial thoughts when reading that is that I have had no plans to support the resolution because I didn't obviously understand the context of what the changing of that act actually was. So I found that very helpful. So thank you.
Yes, we are not supporting three-eyed fish.
No.
Councillor Beaumont, did you want the call?
Yeah, look, I'm not quite sure how this item came to be on our agenda because there's no background as to how we requested by Broken Hill Shire to make this.
It includes the mayoral minute that Mayor Kennedy.
The mayoral minute, but not asking for any action, I don't think. But anyway, I find our report a little bit ambiguous in that at one point here, if I can read some of the text, ultimately the message is not an endorsement of uranium mining itself, but a call for regional communities to have the opportunity to participate in discussions about emerging industries and be fully considered when economic opportunities arise. Now, agree with that. That sounds great. In the conclusion, we're saying in support of Broken Hill Council, this report seeks to endorse advocacy through appropriate pathways seeking the New South Wales government to remove the blanket prohibition of uranium mining, allowing for individual proposals to be assessed on their merits through modern environmental regulation, independent scientific assessment, etc. So I'm suggesting that as a council we probably need to see a draft letter advocating exactly what we are advocating for. I do agree with the opportunity for regional communities to participate in the discussion and hopefully benefit down the track from any mining, whether it be uranium or mineral sands or whatever. But I think the conclusion is sort of suggesting that we're just throwing it open to uranium mining as such.
I don't think that's what we're doing, Councillor Beaumont. I think we're supporting the advocacy of Broken Hill Council, which is to not actually advocate for uranium mining per se. It's to seek the prohibition of the seek to overturn the prohibition that would even allow you to get to first base to be able to apply.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't think the conclusion actually reflects that. That's why I would want to see a draft letter before council to make sure we're all happy with it. I think, potentially this could be a rather emotive issue. If and when it hits the media, there'll be a lot of people that will go, yeah, great. There'll be opportunity for community benefit, but there will be a lot that will be totally opposed to any potential uranium mining.
Very good. Thank you.
Just
sorry, Councillor Evans.
Just a question, Mr. Mayor. I'm just a little confused as we have. Was this a motion? I see here it's a mayoral minute. This seems to be Western Division of Councils. Was this a motion which passed through Western Division of Councils and a meeting therefore?
No. We've got an upcoming meeting for Western Division of Councils. One would imagine it might make its way there.
Yeah.
I think in this case, Mayor Kennedy is simply reaching out to his friends in the Western Division.
So he's positioned that as, or the headline here is obviously talking about the Western Division of Councils, but it's not specific to that particular organisation per se.
Well, we haven't had a meeting, so it hasn't come to a meeting because we haven't had a meeting.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Councillor Nichols.
Mr. Mayor, I moved the motion. I don't have the right to finish up. My background came basically from the background. One sentence. Broken Hill City Council has provided comprehensive information regarding recognition of regional communities that host nationally significant industries. So we're raving on about all whole. It's any industry that they've raised this thing on, and we're centering exactly on the where's and wherefore. So I mean, we are here to support any of the councils that we believe we can help in projecting and moving forward on some of the issues and things may benefit or may not benefit our region, and that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Thank you, Councillor Nichols. I might ask a question to another councillor, Councillor Armstrong. Given the context you provided,
Yes.
Would it be your understanding that there'd be a myriad of environmental approvals and public consultation and all sorts if one was to ever seek to mine uranium?
Yes.
What Mayor Kennedy and the Broken Hill City Council are asking for is that the blanket prohibition, the lifting of that be supported as a council advocacy that would enable that request to even go
That's
forward.
my understanding of reading. Okay. Kennedy's newsletter.
Thank you.
Move the motion be put, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, we have had speakers for and against. I will put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Thank you. The motion is carried, and all votes for and against are recorded in any case. So, thank you, councillors. We shall move. Oh, yeah, sorry. Should have assisted you. We'll move to item 9.6, the monthly finance report for June. For July, I think. Will be.
Mr. Mayor, I move the recommendation.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Starrick. Any questions? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Carried. Item 9.7, monthly investment report for July 2026. Mover, please. Councillor Rodder, seconded Councillor Evans. Any discussion? Councillor Starrick with a question.
Just a question, yeah, with the internal reserve around the plant replacement having temporarily been drawn down, how does that affect our plant replacement for this year?
Doesn't affect
in terms of the cash.
It's covered by the existing incoming revenue and cash that we're receiving for this year.
Thank you, Director Rule. Any further questions? Councillor Armstrong.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Director Rule, just on page 80, just that graph, total funds invested a little bit down of what normally would be in July. Is that just because of the use of those internally restricted funds?
Yeah, and also the last couple of years we've had a substantial amount of prepaid grants as well, which we've been slowly, as you can see, it's been coming down slightly each year for the last 4 years. So we've been slowly reducing those amounts of prepaid.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Item 9.8, the quarterly budget review statements. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Starrick, thank you. A seconder. Councillor Armstrong, thank you. Any questions or debate? The motion, those in favour? Thank you. That is carried. Item 9.9, the quarterly operational plan progress report. For receiving and noting, could I have a mover, please? Councillor Rodder, seconded by Councillor Crisp. Thank you. Would anyone like to speak to this report? Any questions? Councillor Beaumont.
I'd start page 155, refers to land purchase debt, which is development of the old vanilla package shed. Is that property settled at this stage?
Thank you. Anything further? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Item 9.10, adoption of revised procurement policy statement of business ethics and credit card policies. Councillor Nichols is moving, seconded Councillor Rodder. Thank you. Any discussion? Put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Unanimous. Item 9.11. Okay, so we have a couple of folk are going to leave the room for this one, I think. Councillor Sweeting.
Do we leave it for everything or just the ones that we...
Mayor, could I suggest that we address each of the requests individually?
That is a good suggestion. So just to assist before we move a motion, we have Councillor Weeding wanting to leave with regard to the Murray-Darling Amateur Swimming Group grant. Yes?
Yes. And
is that all?
The museum.
Okay, and Councillor Crisp for the other two we can deal with together. So if we have a motion, please, to deal with... Councillor Armstrong, help me out of this.
I would move that we deal with the Debt and Community Action Team first, Ruby's Cargo second, then the Murray-Darling Amateur Swimming Group, and then the Wentworth Military Collection. I would move that we deal with these in that order.
And the balance of what's contained in the
Correct,
report.
yes.
Okay, so you are moving that we deal with the
balance of the report and those individual items in the order that I said just then.
Okay.
Because I can't remember what I said.
In that case, we'll seconding that, Councillor Rodder, thank you. So we'll ask Councillor Crisp and Councillor Weeding to
stay.
Leave when appropriate.
All right. Anyone wish to speak?
Which one are we dealing with first? Dead and community action.
I thought it was Ruby's Cargo as well.
Yeah, so
Ruby's
All right, we're dealing with Ruby's Cargo. Anyone have any perspectives they wish to share on that?
Sure.
All those in favour? Carried. Ruby's Cargo, carried. I'll seek a motion to deal with the Danton Community Action Team. Councillor Armstrong, thank you. Seconded Councillor Rodder. Does anyone have any perspectives they wish to share on that particular grant application? Those in favour? Carried. We will now deal with the Murray-Darling Amateur Swimming Group. So we'll ask for Councillor Weeding. Yes, that's right, because then he'll stay out for 2. I'm slowly getting the hang of this, Councillor Armstrong. So we'll stick with the same movers and seconders as we work through. So Councillor Armstrong moved, Councillor Rodder seconded. Thank you. Is there any discussion with regard to this? Question, Councillor Nichols.
If these go through in full, we've got a balance of 53,000, just under 54,000. 54,000 with a hell of a lot of years still to go. We're talking about being prudent. I think this is some of the time we need to look and be prudent, because if we're going to say that we've got 40-odd thousand to cover the rest of the year, we're not leaving very much left to cover.
we'll have 53. We'll have 53 grand left. 54,000 left if
54.
if all of these are approved. Yeah.
54, but that's still got the majority of the year going to go, haven't we?
That is correct, but this round has actually been a lot less than it has been in previous years. Usually the first round seems to attract the attention of everybody, and then each subsequent round through the year tends to sort of be a little bit less. So, but in saying that, it's always a council's discretion as to how much they wish to fund, and they can always pull back at a later stage, or if we want to extend it at a later stage, there's that option as well. But yeah, your point is very valid.
Yeah, my thoughts are that there are a couple of things that come up late in the year that we have virtually every year for quite large amounts, and I think that some of those people are going to miss out and get anything because we don't have the money unless we again take money from Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah. I suppose the fact is we haven't stipulated that it be broken into quarters or things like that, so we can only deal with applications.
This one's done quarter. Yeah, we haven't broken it.
Yes, but we don't say that you can only apply up to a quarter of the available funds.
Well, in that case, I'd like to move an alternate motion to the that we it may get seconded, may not, that we look at funding $2,500. Pull back.
Okay, is the motion seconded? The amendment seconded? The amendment is not seconded. We'll deal with the motion. Thank you. Okay, any further speakers on the motion? Councillor Rodder.
I noted with interest that in the papers that went along with that financial assistance application report, that the Murray-Darling Amateur Swimming Group had a line item which was subsequently crossed out for starting blocks. So that presumably wasn't included in this financial assistance application. So in that $5,000 amount, do we have any idea on the swimming club upgrading requirements of the facility?
For the starting blocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a number of discussions with regards to the group. Council had previously given a commitment to undertake the installation, the in-kind cost installation, so which was the removal of the existing raised parts, the reinstatement of the tiles and the affixing of the new purchased blocks. And I think the club, in discussion with the Kumiala Club, who was providing additional financial assistance, there was some further information that they needed from us, and they were at that stage looking for a significant monetary contribution. At that particular, there was nothing formal from that. And we had just reiterated our commitment to do the in-kind support and provide for the when the club purchased the blocks, and then we would undertake all the installation. That was my last conversation with the club about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I haven't heard anything further as far as their confirmation of their other funding for the purchase, and or for a request for us to go ahead and do the work.
My anecdotal information is that the top of the current blocks are actually quite dangerous because they're very slippery.
Okay, that's not actually part of what we're dealing with, sorry, so we'll tackle that another way. Any further speakers on the Murray-Darling Swimming Group grant? Councillor Armstrong.
Size my right, Mr. Mayor. Look, I think it's fantastic. I know in years past the swimming club has been struggling a little bit. It's great to see that growth, doubling in size over the last few years. And there is, I know, talking to families around the Shire, there is continued and growing interest in swimming as a sport. So I think it's exciting to see this club growing from where it was a few years ago. And I think it's a great opportunity that we can support this club to continue to make them more capable and continue to attract new members and to help them grow.
Indeed. Very good. Very good for our youth. Any further comments? Put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? That is carried. Councillor Nichols will be recorded against. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Chris. We'll now deal with the Wentworth Military Collection grant application for $5,000. Moved Councillor Armstrong, seconded Councillor Rodder.
I'm happy to second the motion.
So I'm just following the same procedure, but I understand there may be some discussion to follow. Councillor Beaumont.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to move a particular motion in relation to this one, but before I do, I'd like to speak in favour of the grant request of $5,000. The military collection has been a long-standing and unique tourism attraction for the Wentworth Shire. Through no fault of their own, they were required due to unforeseen circumstances to relocate approximately 6 months ago, which took them into the old Kumiala packing shed, which is immediately adjacent to the Sunraysia Early Settlers Museum. So that relocation obviously necessitates quite a deal of internal reconstruction work and that sort of thing to be able to establish their displays, etc. I think there's great benefit in having the military collection alongside to the Early Settlers Museum. They will complement each other and hopefully draw a lot more visitations, particularly to the Dearton area. So to enable the military collection to complete the internal construction and achieve an opening date in the very near future, I'd like to move a motion to the effect that we make available $5,000 by way of reimbursement to the military collection in reaching its goal of opening to the public as soon as possible.
Thanks, Councillor Beaumont. In reimbursement, okay.
So I guess I am aware that, just to add to that, the military...
I'll just get a seconder, Councillor Nichols, and back to you, Councillor Beaumont.
Sorry. Yeah, so just to add to that, I am aware that the military collection are a little short on numbers at the moment, and I think have one or two vacancies within their committee, and I would see this motion facilitating reimbursement up to $5,000 or as a way of assisting the administrative side of the organisation until they get re-established.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll just ask a quick question and then open it up to discussion. Is that practical way to go about it from our internal council processes? Maybe it's a question for you, Director.
Well, normally, yeah, we would just ask the successful applicant to supply us with a tax invoice for the amount that council has granted them. In this case, we would be asking them to also supply supporting evidence of invoices paid and stuff like that to assure us that they have actually made payment on those invoices.
Okay, so from a systems perspective, that's no problem. Thank you. Councillor Rodder.
So it was interesting that Councillor Beaumont said a reimbursement. So they've already purchased the items and we're reimbursing them, or they're purchasing?
No, I mean reimbursement on potential future purchases.
Clarity, future purchases.
We have to stipulate it being after today's date.
You, Councillor
If I
Starrick.
could make a comment just with regard to that. I mean, all the other applicants had an invoice or a quote to support their applications. This one didn't have that supporting documentation to go with it, so I think it would be helpful to provide that requirement so that that additional support is there to show that it's gone towards those purposes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. Well, it will be great to see the doors open later. Okay.
By way of interest, driving past it this afternoon, there was about 6
aqueducts.
Yeah, parked outside, and there's been no movement, no signs, nothing for the past, I don't know how long, and all of a sudden there's a sign, museum, and the cars were parked out the front.
Did you say?
Oh no, that was at the Settlers Museum.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, because it extended right down to
It's in the Roman water delivery system.
No, the water vehicles.
Could we? I think we can invite our friends to rejoin.
Very quick.
And we need to deal with the minutes of this report, I believe. No, that's the report.
That's it.
That's it. That's just information that lets you know how much dough we've got. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so the military museum will be further along.
Yeah, I thought it was just extending right the way down because they were military type.
It's the army duck.
Crisp, Councillor Weeding, we're just having a very short adjournment.
So what was the result of the?
You'll have to watch the video when you go home, Councillor Weeding. There's all was supported with the change in that the $5,000 for the Wentworth Military Collection be made available by reimbursement. Okay. We've officially unadjourned ourselves. And welcome back, Councillor Beaumont. And we'll move to item 9.12, request for event funding for the 2026 Boone Carey races. Councillor Rodder, you are moving.
So I am, however, I would like to move with option B, provide a partial contribution between the requested between 5,000 from last year and the 10,000 requested for this year, as we have done previous event applications. So we went somewhere in between. I'd like to move that we give them 7.5 instead of 10.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Rodder's moved option B, $7,500. Councillor Armstrong is happy. Sorry, Councillor Evans.
Actually, you got
happy to second. Okay, would anyone like to speak to the motion? Councillor Rodder.
As we are all aware, with previous event applications that have come before council, we do have a very tight budget this year, and we've previously taken that action with other event applications. So,
thank you. Any speakers against? Any more speakers for? Councillor Beaumont.
Look, I think $7,500 is a significant amount, and it's going to a very worthwhile event and a community that does a lot in terms of hosting community events in their own space. So support that.
Thank you. Put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Item 9.13, thank you Councillor Rodder and Councillor Evans. We'll see you shortly. This is a request for event funding for the 2026 Christmas Eve Street Party. Is there a mover? Councillor Weeding.
I'd like to move option A, $8,000.
Option A, $8,000. Councillor Nichols, are you seconding that? Thank you.
I am. It's only 300 over last year, so
it's not very much of an increase.
It's minimal. It's not even GST.
Not even keeping up with inflation.
No.
Would someone like to speak to the motion? Councillor Weeding.
I think Councillor Nichols has said everything. It's only $300 over what we gave out last year, so it's a worthwhile event. Everybody turns out, people travel for it, and there is a good fireworks display.
It is a wonderful event. Anyone wish to speak against it? Further speakers for? Put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. That is carried. All right, we'll invite our colleagues back in. The last one was moved by Councillor Weeding, seconded Councillor Nichols. Deputy Mayor Crisp.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. On item 9.14, I move that it be held over for 1 month so it can be deliberated over and resolved.
Is the motion seconded? Councillor Rodder. Would anyone like to speak for the motion? Against? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. That is carried. Is it still a division? Excuse me, General Manager. Yes. So that vote is considered a division, and therefore all votes for and against will be recorded. The decision was supported unanimously. Sorry, Councillor Crisp. Item 9.15.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that 9.15 be withdrawn from the papers as it has been withdrawn from the portal by the proponent.
Thank you, Councillor Crisp. That items 9, 15, 16, 17 and 18, if you'd just like to advise the chamber, in this case, they have, it's not so much they've been withdrawn from the business papers, they've been withdrawn from the planning portal itself and no longer exist. Well, I guess there's your advice.
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor. That refers 9.15 has been withdrawn from the portal, as I understand it, and so too has 9.19. 9, 16, 17 and 18, with advice from the General Manager, I understand. Have they been withdrawn, General Manager, or held over?
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn, right. So I'm happy for those to all be considered concurrently.
Thank you.
The advice is noted. They've been withdrawn from the portal,
Yes.
which means it's automatically taken out of the agenda.
Yeah, sorry. So it's not a motion that we're dealing with. It's simply advice. And 9.19, Deputy Mayor Crisp, I think you may want to
Again, yes, thank you, that 919 be held over to the next meeting so that it can be deliberated over and resolved.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Councillor Rodder, thank you. Those, sorry, would anyone like to speak to the motion? Against the motion? All those in favour? Thank you. And as a planning matter, all votes for and against will be recorded as a division, and that was carried unanimously. Thank you. We will now move to item 920. Is there a mover? Thank you, Councillor Crisp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the matter be held over to the next meeting to allow further negotiations.
Is the motion seconded? Councillor Beaumont.
Thank you. We've heard from both parties tonight, and we've heard also from Mr. Goldsmith of an offer that seems to be different to the past offers that the other party were aware of. So, and it is my view that freehold access to the lot is the most secure access to a lot, rather than that of an easement or a carriageway. I also see in those negotiations that from one of the parties that was the width of that freehold offer was a concern, and that in those negotiations one would hope that that carriageway width can be secured, and that's one path the council could go down. And in this debate too, and that's the other options are, of course, that we can approve the boundary realignment, or we can not approve the boundary realignment and let's see what the parties do, whether they wish to proceed to the Land and Environment Court and challenge the council's decision, which would involve costs to all parties involved, including council. But I know this is uncharted territory in my experience as a councillor over the years to take this action. However, we have just previously held over a number of areas and 2 other items for time for them to be resolved. So this is difficult, and I'm amenable to all views and amendments to this as we try to find a solution to something that has been difficult for everybody. It's been ongoing for a long time, and I'm exhausted at the thought that we don't get a resolution that's amenable to the parties. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Crisp. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Councillor Rodder.
This matter has been before Council on previous occasions and is long-standing. We have a recommendation here from an external planner to approve for the 2-lot boundary realignment at Lot 5 and Lot 3. I don't think there's any benefit to holding the matter over any further, and should that recommendation be approved by Council, that does not preclude further negotiations between the 2 landholders for a change in access.
Thank you, Councillor Rodder. Are there any further speakers for?
You've got one who's moved it, who's for, and one who's seconded, who's against. So,
second.
Oh, sorry.
Right. Seconded. Yeah. So, Councillor Nichols, would you like to?
No, it's fine. I know which way I'm going.
Okay. Just speaking to the punch by Councillor Weeding.
Seeing there seems to be a lot of cost involved with going through with the decision. Give it another go and see if they can come to an agreement. If they can come to an agreement, well and good. I don't know why anybody would want to swap a 10-metre easement for a 6-metre easement. I think there's negotiation room there, so I speak for the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Weeding. Councillor Beaumont.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think at the end of the day, we all want a solution that's going to bring some, I guess, harmony, if that's the right word, and peace of mind for everyone involved in relation to this matter. As has been said, it's been ongoing for a long time. I would just like to see an outcome that benefits both parties, allows Mr. Martin the ready access he wants to both lots of land, but also facilitates a carriageway for the Jardines down to their property that they'll be happy with. I think we need to try and find an outcome here that's going to be going to suit all parties.
Thank you. Councillor Armstrong.
Yeah, just a procedural question, Mr. Mayor, through perhaps the General Manager. If the motion to hold over this matter to next meeting is lost, do we then move back to the recommendation as written? Okay, thanks.
That's a question for the General Manager. That how do you view what this motion is suggesting?
Or the motion? Amendment or the recommendation?
Am I responding to your words
My
or
motion. Yeah.
It's a difficult one by the fact that I'd nearly try to act as a mediator. I'd nearly go to both parties and see if there's room to action what you're requesting of me or requesting of council in the deliberation. So it's one of those ones where a willingness or desire is required on both parties to achieve the amicable result. Is that going to happen or not? That's, you lay it on the table for a month and I'll try and achieve that, or the determination's made.
You have a question, Councillor Lowe?
I'd just like to point out that in actual fact that Councillor Chris' amended motion did not include a time frame.
I'd happily accept an amendment to that to put a time frame on.
Just before we would move any amendment that way, Mr. Mayor, question again on procedure to the General Manager. Would moving to hold this over trigger the period, like the time frame for what is considered a refusal?
No, that's already gone, I think.
It's already gone?
Yep.
So in saying that, if that time period is already gone and we move to hold this over, the proponent is then within their right to pursue other channels in this? If that time period is exceeded?
If that's deemed refused.
Yep.
Which would possibly trigger an environment court action. Or they would see reasonableness in the request of Councillor Crisp and see if Councillor Rodder's also right. I mean, it's been going on for quite some time, but was tried to be brought to the table for a resolution, which obviously won't satisfy all parties that's represented tonight. But yeah, the next what you're asking is not for a planning decision. You're asking me to be a mediator in some way, which is, unfortunately, that's sort of my personality. I'd like to achieve that for everyone.
The Mayor, sorry, I have another question, and this is more to the planning powers of council than procedure. Does council and us as councillors have the power to add a condition that would move the easement to the eastern boundary of that lot, or is that within our power or not? So that the contention seems to be the easement is through the middle of the property. If we instructed that that easement is moved, is that within our powers as council or not?
It's a conveyancing act matter, so the easement was created under a former DP, under Section 88B of the Conveyancing Act, and it was in that. So in easements, you have lots benefited and lots burdened. Lots benefit is the Jardine land, lots burdened is the other parent parcel, for which the boundary realignment is trying to alter. So it's really It's not even a planning matter, it's a conveyancing matter under section 88B.
Thank you, Mr. General Manager.
Question, Councillor Crisp.
Yes, or an observation. The offer from one of the parties was for freehold access, a far safer and more secure access than carriageway or an easement. And I think that would then, I seek the advice, getting a little technical, of the General Manager's planning experience. Probably when the boundary is realigned, there is the new boundary of the combined lots leaves room for that freehold addition to the land. Now that's just detail, but I think over some time in the past, I know carriageways and easements are used for many things, but an axe handle subdivision on that piece of land probably in hindsight would have been a far better move than what we have with a carriageway or an access. But that's history and it's gone. But in summing up on this, let's give it one, given what the General Manager just said, let's give it one more chance to get this, and then it will be resolved in the chamber or beyond the chamber into the future.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Crisp. That concludes the debate on the amended motion. I'll put the motion. Those in support. Those against? Thank you. The amendment is carried and becomes the motion. As this is a planning matter.
It was the matter.
It was the motion.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
The recommendation at the office.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, it's a bit going on. Okay, so the motion is carried. It is a planning matter, and the vote will be considered a division, and therefore those for and against will be recorded. Against was Councillor Rodder and Councillor Armstrong. Thank you.
If we may, Mr. Mayor, have a short break.
We're doing adjournments piecemeal tonight. Okay.
What was your first word? Continue.
We'll move, someone could please move us thank you, Councillor Armstrong. Words to that effect. Councillor Crisp seconded. Thank you. Those in favour? And we're back. Okay, we'll deal with item 9.21, the dwelling with garage, carport, retaining wall and swimming pool.
Move as written, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. We have a mover. Seconded, Councillor Crisp. Thank you. Anyone wish to speak to the motion? Against? All those in favour? Anyone against? No, thank you. That has been carried unanimously, and as a planning matter, considered a division, and all votes will be recorded. It was passed unanimously. Item 9.22, a concept application. Councillor Crisp has moved. Councillor Armstrong has moved.
Sorry, Councillor Crisp has moved what?
Moved option B.
Option B being.
Sorry, I don't think it's got an A or a B, Councillor Crisp.
You're moving to approve, Councillor Crisp?
Which is, yes, approved, which I believe is option B.
Thank you. Seconded, Councillor Rodder. Thank you. Would anyone like to speak to the motion? Councillor Armstrong.
Yeah, Mr Mayor, thank you. I think we've dealt with something similar to this either the last council or the one before. We similar, right? We have an interesting situation economically within our shire at the moment, where lots of grape growers are struggling because of a downturn, particularly in wine grape industry, but also after a few successive years of poor results in the table grape industry. I think it's really important that as a council we look at ways to support those growers, particularly where they have smaller lots that are caught up under RU1, and even the lot itself is smaller than the minimum lot size allowed under RU1 or RU4, but allow them to do something else with that land that they are not generating any income from. There's become a burden to them that would allow them to recoup some of the losses they've made on that property over the previous years. And, you know, the big positive to this is it creates more lifestyle properties close to Wentworth and has the potential to create properties of a lifestyle size closer to Wentworth, attracting people to move to this beautiful part of the world. So I would commend this motion to council.
Thank you, Councillor Armstrong. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Any further speakers for? Councillor Crisp.
Thank you. I will take councillors to page 681, which is very similar in some respects to something we've, as Councillor Armstrong said, dealt with in the past. There is just on the edge of that the shadow of a housing lot that is on the river. So really we're putting like with like, but on a somewhat larger scale. And in view of some of our discussions tonight, if you look on page 675, you note that the access to one of these properties is freehold.
Yes, good, very good point. Thank you, Councillor Crisp. Any further speakers? I'll put the motion. This is a planning matter and the vote will be considered a division. All votes for and against will be recorded. Those in favour, please. Thank you. That is carried unanimously. Jog along to item 9.23, a concept application. Councillor Armstrong.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd move that council determined to approve said DA and call for the division, noting that this is the lot next to the previous lot.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Councillor Beaumont. Thank you. Anyone wish to speak for the motion? Anyone wish to speak against the motion? I'll put the motion, and this is a division as a planning matter, and all votes for and against will be recorded. Those in favour? Thank you. There are none against. The motion is carried unanimously. Okay, item 9.24, development application determination report for July 2026. Just have a look at those figures. Is there a mover? Councillor Rodder, seconded Councillor Evans. Would anyone like to speak to this report? Anyone have any very searching questions related to this report? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 9.25, project works report for August 2026. Moved Councillor Nichols. Is there a seconder? Councillor Armstrong. Thank you. Any questions?
Probably just a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Nichols with a comment.
It's just good to see a couple of these camp kitchens that's been around for a while now to complete. A couple of other items on there completed after some length of time, so it's good to see that some of these are being ticked off.
Thank you, Councillor Nichols. I'm glad you mentioned Camp Kitchen. I have a quick question, then I'll go to Councillor Beaumont. The dust sealing of the Pooncarie Camp Kitchen now 100% completed. At a recent meeting, it was pointed out that it wasn't dust proof. So is this report reflecting after that?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
I'm happy to verify that though, but from my understanding, that is the case.
Right. Thank you. Councillor Beaumont.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just in relation further to Camp Kitchens, the Camp Kitchen at the showgrounds, I had cause to have a look at that with some of the race club committee the other day, and there are a couple of minor issues, I guess. If you have a look at the photo on page 739, you've got the roller doors there that come down over the servery. The stainless steel servery doesn't cover the brickwork in front of it or under it. So what you have is a servery with a ledge and then the brickwork, and yeah, that way, yeah, horizontal. So which I can see is going to be a problem with spillages and that down the track. And between the brick on the corner, between the brickwork and the cladding, we have a gap of anywhere between 25 mil between the bricks and the cladding, which will be a trap for anyone that might put a purse or a wallet or a credit card or anything on that brickwork if it falls down between the cladding and the brickwork. A bit of a problem there. So probably need a little bit more thought, a little bit more work just to address those couple of small issues.
Thank you. Director Gunn.
Yes, if I could just answer those questions. Both those issues have been raised, identified with the project manager, and in the process of being addressed, it also identified those very issues.
Councillor Weeding, are you seeking?
Just a quick question. Where's the Three Sisters stormwater drainage?
Three Sisters stormwater is in Golgol, behind the water treatment plant.
Thank you. Director Gunn, I just have a quick question. There's a number of road heavy grading and other maintenance projects going on. Has the recent and forecast rainfall adversely impacted that, or is it actually helping with the grading?
At the moment, adversely affected a number of those particular sections. So yes, currently no access to a number of those particular locations at the moment to even assess damage.
A little too much of a good thing. All right, thank you. Any further questions for Director Gunn's report? I'll put the motion. Councillor.
Just on a positive note, it's really great to see the work already commencing on the Cadell Street footpath.
Excellent. Thank you. Those in favour? Against? You're brave. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Deputy Mayor Crisp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move the council adjourns into closed session, that the recording of the meeting be paused, and that members of the press and public be excluded from the meeting of the closed session, and that access to the correspondence and reports relating to the items considered during the course of the closed session be withheld unless declassified by separate resolution.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Crisp. Is the motion seconded? Councillor Rodder, thank you. Those in favour? Carried. Welcome back. We're back online, Councillor Nichols. We'll have to save that conversation for dinner. I would like to ask the General Manager to please report on the outcomes of the closed council business.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. During the closed council business this evening, council deliberated over two items. 12.1, Wentworth Flood Risk Management Process, for which the council endorsed the engagement of Royal and Associates to conduct the next stage of the flood risk management plan. In relation to 12.2, a sewer rehab works, it was resolved that council approved the secondary scope as submitted by in situ form, Pacific Proprietary Limited, for the extended schedule rates of an amount of $496.50 be accepted for the 2026 sewer rehab works. That concluded tonight's deliberation in closed council business.
Thank you, General Manager, and thank you all for your eager participation and attendance this evening. That concludes the meeting. Our next meeting is the 16th of September, and I wish everybody a fabulous 139th Wentworth Show.